Back in the late 1800s, a small troop of railway workers travelled to the Australian Blue Mountains. They brought their families with them, carrying small children in swags on their back and in wheelbarrows with their belongings. One pair, a worker and his wife, were childless and ambitious. Upon reaching the lodgings provided by the company, the man found them insufficient and told his wife they would find somewhere else. There were too many people. Things were cramped, noisy, and dirty. The man, in his wisdom, picked up and moved them further away from the camp. Obediently, the wife followed. He was headstrong and self-sufficient, and she believed in his judgment totally. They had been warned away from the clearing at the top of the hill by other people in the area. They were told it was a bad place, blackened and charred in a way that the surrounding area was not. The place did not regenerate in the way it should have. It remained blackened and sullen. The man and his wife were urged not to spend time up there. The man was scornful of such superstitions, though. The glade would be rich in game and fruits, or so he figured, and only a few 100 feet away from the main camp. He claimed squatters' rights and set up his own campsite. Nobody challenged them, and for a few months they lived peacefully. Eventually, the man and his wife began to build a cottage there. She fell pregnant just as he began the construction. He was clever and good with his hands, and the years spent in construction had taught him many of the skills needed to make a house. He got help from his fellow workers where he could, paying them to do the things he could not, the masonry and the flooring. His friends, such as they were, would come and assist him, but would never stay long. Never stay for the hearty meal his wife cooked. Offended, the man asked his friends why they would never stay. This was a bad place, they repeated to him. It had always been according to the indigenous inhabitants. Why? He asked in a rage. Why was this a bad place? It was just a feeling, they said. A feeling that the land didn't want them there. The way the wind would blow wrathfully down the hill, and the trees would blow south, as if turning away. There were never any animals on the land. There were no berries or game, only a few scraggly eucalypts leaning out over the top of it in silent judgment. It was a blighted place. No good. The man told them he didn't understand, and that they were foolish, and they left. The cottage was nearly complete, and the man's wife was now heavily pregnant. They had been living in the house for several weeks, despite it not being totally complete. Just as the sun was rising in the morning, the man was chopping wood outside and he saw an animal. It was a strange beast, even by the standards of Australia. It was walking on 2 legs, though it was bent over as if it should be walking on 4. It had the head of a dog or a wolf and the tail of a kangaroo. The creature was painfully thin-looking, as if it had not eaten in weeks. The man retrieved his rifle. Meat was hard to come by out here, and he would not let such an opportunity pass him by. As he lined up his sights, he felt a hand on his arm. It was his wife. "Don't kill it," she whispered. "It is a special creature. Let it pass through unharmed." When he asked her what she meant, how she knew it, she just told him she could feel it. The baby was telling her. He laughed at her foolishness and shot it anyway. As he did, the creature let out an ear-splitting howl. The sound was that of a wounded woman, but it seemed to pierce all time and space, like the pulling of a mandrake might. It fell to the ground. Within seconds, his wife was screaming, "You've killed it! You've killed it and doomed us!" Her waters had broken. He rushed her to the nearby doctor. As the baby was emerging, the room filled with smoke. The woman screamed in agony, and the baby did not come out of her body in the usual way. It emerged from inside her in flame. It was no child. It had the head of a wolf dog thing and a long, gangling body. It walked on two legs, hunched over. A monster. And it burned. The thing was on fire. It walked straight out of the surgery and disappeared. 2 weeks later, the man's body was found, charred and half-eaten. The surrounding woods were blackened once again. The cottage remained, but nobody else lived there for a long, long time.